say either Tudor monarchs, or let us say even Queen Elizabeth or James I eventually, right friends? So we have to consider this play actually from such parameters, right? So it is more about also about the remarkable story of the birth of Queen Elizabeth. And now at the same time we find that there are a series of tragic falls. For example, we know there is Buckingham, there is Catherine, there is Cardinal Wolsey. All of them, they die, and then it gives us that medieval tradition which actually medieval tradition of tragedy, where the princes they fall. There is the fall of princes, right? And here as well there is that fall, right? But then the purpose behind these falls is that they actually give us many lessons concerning personal conduct as well as personal conduct as well as the art of statecraft, right? And at the same time it is about the art of holy dying, right? You look at it that 3 people who died here, I mean, they forgive their enemies. It is what we call the art of holy dying, right? Although there is that divine power which is invoked, that divine justice would be served, but then when these 3 people die, 3 principal characters here, Buckingham, Catherine and then Cardinal Wolsey, we do not find that they do curse their enemies, rather they do sing something in their praise. None of these characters, they actually criticize King Henry VIII, right? They do not criticize his rule, they do not criticize him, and they do not even criticize their enemies, but divine retribution it is invoked, right? So that is there. And we do find, of course, a lot of pity in the deaths of Buckingham and Queen Elizabeth, right? So they remain actually the victims of, we know, Cardinal Wolsey's that manipulating mind. It is because of that they actually die here. Then friends, one more convention of medieval tragedy that can be seen here is that there is that wheel of fortune which keeps on rotating, right? And there is an overseeing power above which keeps looking, which keeps recording which keeps actually the account of your deeds, right? So that is where we find Cardinal Wolsey. Actually, I'll talk about him later as well. But Cardinal Wolsey, if we look at him, he is the one who actually makes King Henry VIII send the Earl of Surrey to England. He is the one actually who tries to rise in the favor of King Henry VIII. He is the one who does a lot to organize that event there in France, which we find the mention of which we find in the very beginning of the play, right? And then friends, I mean, there are things like the way he had collected that enormous personal fortune, personal wealth, which a monk is not allowed to do, right? And then friends, the way he claims for papacy, and then the way he causes the divorce of Queen Catherine, right? So these are a few things actually which he does, but eventually he realizes when King Henry VIII gets to know that he was the one actually, how he was acting behind his back, right? So that is something which comes to which comes to play, or which is discussed the moment he gives that farewell speech, or he is not happy the way he had actually played his part, right? So somewhere we find that there is that fortune of will, there is that omnipotent power, and it does manifest itself through one thing or another. And here that omnipotent power, that all overseeing power, it manifests itself through the king, right? King Henry VIII, because it is he who ultimately punishes this man. I mean, of course, he's not executed, but then he's robbed of his designation. He no longer remains a cardinal there, right? And eventually there is his death as well, and at the death time he is more apologetic. He admires King Henry. He of course appreciates his rule, and he's there forgiving in nature, right? So I mean, these were a few issues that I wanted to discuss. uh, today, and I just introduced King Henry VIII, and then how this issue of joint authorship, why, who said it was a joint play, and then what are the cases which can be presented in favor of Shakespeare, that he happens to be the sole author. Now King Henry's divorce with Queen Catherine, and then of course his marriage to Anne Boleyn, then Cardinal Wolsey's death. These are other important concerns, along with Protestant and Catholic of course rule there which was taking place. So I will be talking about those issues in my next lectures. So for the time being, I just introduce the play and try to bring out certain important issues which can be of course researched while we read Henry VIII as an important history, a play by Shakespeare, which ushered in that famous movement called the Reformation. Thank you very much.